Hello everyone. In today's video, I'd like to wish you all a happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Yep, that's right. Today is January 18th, 2020, and this year is also Martin Luther King Jr. Day, like I said. So, with that being said, happy Martin Luther King Jr. to everybody. So, Martin Luther King Jr. Day is like a national day where we celebrate the national day of this man named Martin Luther King Jr. And so Martin Luther King Jr. is basically a person where he's best known for his very popular famous "I Have a Dream" speech because back in the old days on this planet, like during the civil rights movement, like African Americans were never allowed in public places, and of course they always had signs saying whites only. But then of course it wasn't until sometime in August, very long ago, when Martin Luther King Jr. gave out his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. Yeah. And Martin Luther King Jr. was he was an amazing person, and he was awesome. He was amazing. And of course Martin Luther King Jr. did a very great job presenting his "I Have a Dream" speech. Yeah. That was awesome. Because we all know that. We all know his famous speech, of course. And so but then sadly in the late 1960s, I believe. Yeah, I think I said that right. But then of course years later, in April, on April 4th, on the day April 4th of the 1960s or so, 1966 or 7, whatever. But yeah, so it was this heartbreaking moment, and also a very heartbreaking moment when Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. He was actually shot dead at the Lorraine Motel, which the Lorraine Motel is now known as the Civil Rights Museum, where people go to the National Civil Rights Museum and check out the history of the history of Martin Luther King Jr. And of course, it was built around the former Lorraine Motel, where it used to be a motel, of course, where Martin Luther King Jr. lived in his room 306. But then, of course, he stood near a little railing, of course, on the side, of course. But then of course, that was when Martin Luther King Jr. was shot dead. And many people believe that it was James Earl Ray. Many people believe that James Earl Ray was the one who shot Martin Luther King Jr., the one who assassinated him. But it was very sad that Martin Luther King Jr. died when he was assassinated. Yeah, it was very sad. But yeah, so we will always remember Martin Luther King Jr. We'll always remember him. We'll always definitely remember his "I Have a Dream" speech. And so, with that being said, that's gonna be it for this video. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you're not subscribed yet, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet, and make sure to like this video as well. So with that being said, until next time, goodbye everybody, and happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and that's about it.